So the first thing I want to show you is how to start your projects. But normally, and in any other time that I have shown how to start a project in Nuke Studio, I have shown either starting from the panel where you can start a new project, you can open a project, but I'm thinking now to actually show you a little bit more advanced, and it's how to set up templates so you start your project. And what do I mean by that? So if I close this, I get a new pop-up, and this pop-up shows me presets that I can actually start my project on. I have created an advertising one, animation, episodic, and even a stock footage, which I'll show you later to what that is. So I'm going to show you how to create these templates. So I'm going to cancel this. That allows me to start a clean project. And I'm going to try and create a project the way I would like to work in my company, or the way I like to work in my different shows. So I normally start by having a folder where I'm going to put my sequences. Then I have normally another folder where I set up my footage. So, actually, normally I have my reference here. So any artwork or anything, references that I have through the project that is going to help me for it. Then I actually start having my footage and so on and so forth. So I could go through this and create all of that. One of the things that I like as well, setting it up straight away, is kind of the folders that I want inside, or the colors of the folders. So for example, I can start having folders inside my sequences, because I normally have a folder for a story, which is the actual storyline or edit of my project. But then I have another project which is review, and normally I have a third project in there called deliverables. As you'll know, nowadays we have to, especially if you're doing like music videos or anything, advertising, things like that, you have to make thousands of deliverables and hundreds of deliverables. So I like to have a different place to store my different ways of starting. Now, when I do this, it's not just the folders that I can have here. I can actually have things like setting up my color spaces. So even though I can set my color spaces on the preferences, I know that depending on the type of project, I'm going to be working with different settings. So this way I can save different types of settings for that, instead of having just my settings from the preferences. So for example, if this was my advertising stuff, I probably will be working maybe on Nuke defaults if it is a Rec 709 project, unless I'm actually working on Rec 2020, then I'll be moving probably into ACES and start setting up ACES. So let's say this is going to be my ACES setup. Depending on how you want, you can actually set this up. So let's say that I'm going to use the default ACES 101, and I'm going to close that. The other thing that I like to do on these presets is having utility things that I can have in here. So for example, I'm going to create now a new folder, and this is going to be, normally it's my 05 or the last of my folders, which is normally around 05, 06, and this is going to be online editing tools or editing tools. And what I mean by that is I can actually have footage in here that I can import into my project. So what I can do is come in here, say import a file or anything. So I actually have files. So I normally have like black and white frames, I have color bars, I normally have, I could have a blank Nuke script. I can show you that, to create that. So I normally have a few frames that are little bits and pieces that I like having in my project, ready for me to just drop things into the timeline. A good case of that is, imagine I would come into an graph and I want to have a blank project, that Nuke script that I can put in the timeline very quickly to then jump into it. So let's import that. Okay, and now I have my kind of editorial tools that I like to have on my project. So now that I have that, let's actually change. I could change some of the colors of those folders to make my life easier or nicer. Some people like color, some people like black and whites. You can go and do that. I can show you how to do the whole thing. And now to make it a template, all I have to do is save that file into my template folder. So all I have to do is go to my .nuke folder. So I'm gonna go .nuke, and inside, if you don't have a template folder, you have to create the template folder, and there you can save your project. So this time I'm gonna save it as advertising, but I'm actually gonna say this is a ACES project. So now I know that one is the one that I can use for my presets on ACES directly to start. So save that. Now I can close that. And now when it is asking me to start a new project, as you can see, as soon as I close the project using Alt Command W or Control W in Windows and Linux, I get the template menu, and straight away I have my ACES. So I'm actually in this program, I'm not going to use ACES, I'm going to just use the advertising one. I'm going to say OK, and I'm going to say no. And there you go. Here is my template, straight away ready for me. It is now an untitled project, as you can see, so it's a new project. It's not related to that ACES, so it's a read-only project that suddenly sets up all my folders, and I'm ready to go. And as I said, I have all my utility tools that I wanted to have in here, and now I'm ready, right? So that is the first thing I wanted to show you, as how to start your projects in a much easier way.